I am super excited to be taking a look at this with you today, this deck with you. This was sent to me for the purpose of review by the wonderful Jessie Huntenberg. I have to admit that I have been sort of, not super into like the Instagram spaces consistently. I'm working on it and social media and things. So I missed, I think, the fact that she was in the process of creating a guide or a deck. So it was kind of like a lovely surprise. Jessie has been around for a long time. I have a lot of respect for her and her, again, I've done a couple reviews this week that are from people that I have, been able to watch for a really long time and been able to see sort of a consistency of what they offer and what they put out into the world. And some of those people, you just are like, okay, these just are good people putting consistent ideas and working their way through the topics and the things that are important to them. And Jessie is definitely one of those that I have a great deal of respect for. So I actually am quite honored to be taking a look at this deck. What I love here in her, she talks about sort of being in this space where she was just at a collapsing point. She was at a difficult point. She was lost. Again, I don't want to share her whole story. She shares it in this deck with you. But she really talks about how, she was at this bottom point and she just started to paint, right? Like she just started to paint. And the very first one that she painted was St. Bridget. Anyway, she goes on through that. And she goes on and talks about that in such a powerful way and sort of this moving its way through the course of painting this entire deck that she is called the Genius Garden Guidebook. And so she has a section in here which I think is important to see where she's coming from. And so she says, we often think of genius as exceptional intellectual brilliance, but it wasn't always so. In classical Roman times, genius was perceived as the attendant spirit of a particular person or place, and each was honored and worshipped as a deity. These were often also like crossovers with ancestral energy. There can be geniuses that would, follow through a family line as a guardian. And so it's quite beautiful. The genius that is invoked and evoked and channeled through the Genius Garden Tarot is the unique spirit of your higher self, the directional arrow that points you towards your most potent creative potential. As far as I'm concerned, genius isn't a title that's reserved for the quickest or most accomplished amongst us. Instead, it's a gift given to each of us at the moment of our birth, one that helps us navigate the journey of our lives. Genius is the particle of Godhead implicit in your being, which is really beautiful. A genius garden, which is what this deck is supposed to embody, is the place each being creates in service to their most generative, authentic expressions, right? So if we are each inherently embody a genius, right? What we put out and create from that space of highest self and highest being becomes the garden that we have created. So I just think that's really beautiful. Again, she talks a lot about it. It is based on Rider-Waite Smith, so I'm sure there's going to be some variation just based on how she sees things. I'm excited to take a peek at them. Oops, the box is fantastic. I was just trying to do it one-handed. I love this Fool card. But I did want to mention the back because I love that she talks about the back. The deep blue hue of the card back represents the earth primordial oceans. And the twin seedlings represent the emergence of life from darkness. The two cupped hands represent the energy we give to everything we nurture and create. And the total card back image represents the miracle of genius birth in every one of us. So I love that, right? The backs, we see the backs a lot. And so for her to take the time to, there's a meaning to the backs, and it really encompasses the whole meaning of the trajectory of the deck. I think that's fantastic. So I just wanted to mention that because I love that she talked about that. She has some rituals here. She has some spreads here: Grow Your Garden spread, a reunion spread, a journey spread, and a creatrix fire spread. Again, love spreads that seem like they have to do specifically with the theme of the deck, which I absolutely love to see that there. And then you have, let me see, compared to if they're all like that when we get into, yeah. So the majors, you have 2 pages. Black and white, you have the name, some keywords, black and white image, and then some descriptions, as well as a journaling prompt, which is fantastic if you want to use this card as a jumping off point to journal about. And then when you get to the minors, you have 2 cards on each page with a paragraph written there. So that, and there's beautiful Jessie in the back. It says Jessie Huntingberg is an artist, writer, and tarot reader whose work is dedicated to invoking and channeling your inner genius. She started studying tarot in 2015 to support her transition into motherhood, and she began serving others as a tarot reader soon after. So yep, this is her first tarot deck, and its creation is a realization of a lifelong dream. I love, love, love that for her. And I'm excited again to take a look at this. So let's pull this out. Put this back in over here. Again, nice box. Truth awaits the brave. You have to be brave to focus on the truth. We have sort of a sky backing, and we have a cup in the bottom. The back says a 78 card deck for unlocking the genius within. Use these cards for divination, archetypal exploration, and self-discovery. Obviously created by Jessie Huntingberg. Nice, sturdy, great box. I'm not gonna, it may be fine, but I don't want to struggle with it. Sometimes if you put snug boxes, which we want, but when you close them, when there's no weight to the cards, you can get in trouble. I usually do this to mine when I'm going to kind of set them aside, and I don't want it because I've just done that too many times. The cards are definitely a matte card. Beautiful. I haven't shuffled them yet, but they feel flexible, like they're going to shuffle well. But they have a gorgeous matte, not sticky matte, but that perfect satin matte that you just really can't ask for anything better on that. And again, it feels like it's going to riffle. This does have gold gilding. I will still riffle shuffle it. You do you. I don't mind my gilded decks to look like they've been used, but just you do you. Don't cringe when you see me doing it. But there we've got that on the sides. And then we have full no borders with this beautiful dark blue bottom for the titles. I will talk about that in a second. This, she did send me the certificate of authenticity. It looks like this was a 1,000 deck run that she has as the first edition. And then her card here with obviously the hanged person here as well. So let's zoom in. Oops, I don't know why I flipped it over that way. Sometimes you just wonder what your brain's doing. I absolutely adore this full card. I believe she said, it might be in here, I believe she said she used acrylics for this, so these are painted with acrylics. I am 99. She went to the art shop. Yep, acrylics and tan mixed media board is what we have here. I absolutely I absolutely adore fools that have this chest open posture. It's my absolute favorite Fool. It's just that energy of just being wide open and vulnerable and just ready to meet the world. I think that is extremely beautiful and powerful Fool card. Let me read you the write-up for the Fool just so you get an idea of what you get in the guidebook. So we have the Fool. Again, it has some keywords: faith, trust, and new beginnings. And then we have a black and white thumbnail. A figure dauntlessly, I love that word, dauntlessly launches off the edge of a cliff, head back, heart forward. They trust in the universe enough not to look down. They know they will land right where they are meant to. Each time they've encountered this precipice, they've backed away in fear and apprehension. Today is a new day, however. The hopeful glow of the rising sun emboldens them to run and leap with all the enthusiasm they can muster. Faith and trust are the forces that keep them aloft. The next step on your soul's journey is a leap, and it's waiting for you to take it. Dive into the vast unknown with strength and grace, beauty. Be brave and meet your challenges head on. There's a calling rising within you that won't be ignored, and the more you resist it, the louder it gets. The time to act is now, so leave off stalling and go for it. Trust that you have everything you need to navigate the challenges in store. Trust in the guidance of your genius, that divine inner light that animates and inspires you. And finally, trust in the inherent benevolence of the beautiful cosmic expanse. It will take you where you're meant to go. The journal prompt that's on the majors says, what fears, uncertainties, or insecurities are holding you back? How might a genius leap silence them? So beautiful. I do love that it talks about the image that we're seeing and how that relates to the meaning. I really appreciate that more so than I appreciate, just the basic meaning of a card. Again, just even like this, a mage levitates all four. His stare is gentle, confident, and penetrating. He's drawing energy. He's unflat. So it tells us what we're seeing, and then how that relates to the meaning. Why did Jesse paint this particular image for this particular card? That interests me a lot. So I love to see that the guidebook references the images. So there we have the Fool. Again, there is the Magician. Again, I do like that levitation, and I like the hand position that his hand is in as he levitates each one of the symbols for the four suits. So I love that. I really like the way that he's looking out from the card and challenging us to do the same. I quite like cards with people that do sort of seem to interact with the person, and that this card very much feels to me like he is looking at me and saying, hey, what you got? That kind of energy. So I quite love that. Here we have the beautiful High Priestess. Again, just as equally, I love that her eyes are closed because she is diving inward. I like that she literally looks immersed in the waters, which is, highly how I would see that, is that going, like, I feel like she's just walking and going to go under the powerful waters. We still see the pomegranate. We still kind of get that feel for pillars of this darkness and there's light. So I can see obviously remnants of the Rider-Waite-Smith, but this to me is a perfect High Priestess. It's absolutely gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. Here we have our Empress card, very Mother Earth, but look at, see, this I love. See how we have the mimicking of the waters, but this is at night and into the subconscious, and this is in the daytime and ruling the creative outside, creating the world around you, the creating the inner world, diving into the inner world, and then that same power but in a different capacity and focus in a different direction. That is really gorgeous. Love how she did that. Really beautiful. Love, 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 love. Um, so what's interesting is that we kind of have, in a way, this is a flip, but I quite like that this again looks more like rock. It's more structured. We don't necessarily have the typical, um, you know, rock a throne that you're having here, but it does feel much more structured. That could be a waterfall, so don't take my word for it, but it seems much more solid to it. That gives me a feeling of, again, I'm gonna pull up because I'm probably wrong, but I do like the well, yeah, it says a wizened man fuses with a mountain, so that's rock. He is stoic and resolute. Okay, okay. See, I met her where she was with that. I quite like that. I love it. I like that connection to solidity with the Emperor versus that sort of growing energy with the Empress there as well. So that's quite beautiful. Here we have the Hierophant, much more of the teacher and much more of the teacher within, as we have, obviously, the Buddha is sitting under the Bodhi tree. So that makes a lot of sense. Trust in kindness, release regret, open your heart to tolerance and understanding. So much more of, and again, we see this in a lot of decks, much more of a mentoring for the highest good teaching that I don't know we can always put as the 1400 popes and papacies. I don't think always had anybody's highest good. More political power. This definitely leans into that teacher that I like to see with the Hierophant, with the warning, right, to always trust it and go inward and make sure that you're trusting the lessons that you're gaining. So that works. This is gorgeous. It is very dark, and in person, I would say, oh, it's coming about very similarly. Like, you can barely see the people here, and it's kind of cool. I'm going to see if she writes anything about it. Two kindreds meet in a solitary grove under the light of the full. Again, I love that it's under the light of the moon versus the light of the sun that you often see. I don't know. There's something about this one. I did kind of skim through, and it really kind of hit this kind of darkness. There is an intimacy, right, about this that I think is actually really quite beautiful and poignant. And that third focal point being the moon. I like to have three things in the Lover's card, but being and content with your choice in that quiet space in the darkness when you're not doing it for what other people think, I think works really well for these important choices that are made. This is, I just found this to be really poignant. I've not seen a Lover's card like this before, and quite appreciate that. I also love this Chariot. I feel like this is myself. Chariot is one of my cards, and I just love this sort of cross-legged kind of going along with the flow, trusting in your own ability to navigate. When I was like 17, I think I was just graduating. I was 16 or 17. I graduated high school when I was 17. So it was like 16, 17. And I had a boyfriend who was just mostly a male correspondence boyfriend because he lived a ways away. But I went to my aunt's who lived nearby. And long story short, we the youth group had like gone on a canoe trip. And so we were in a canoe, and this was not me in a canoe. Like, I was literally going around in a circle down, and then it turned over. But I like to believe that this is me in a canoe. I quite love it. I think it's gorgeous. Here we have the Strength card, our lion. You know, what I do really like about this is that there is because you don't have this like civilized, fully dressed female sort of next to a lion, there is this almost looks like it's the end goal, right? The end result is to be completely comfortable with both sides and both aspects of self, and this portrays that beautifully to me. Love it. I am loving this, Miss Jessie, as if Jessie's watching this, but I'm just saying, I'm loving this. Love this Hermit. Love the older woman. I do love hermits that are older women that feel like they're entering into the caves or just coming out of the caves. I love the fire in her hands. Absolutely love this hermit card. I'm a big, like, I love the traditional, you know, things that we see in that, but there are some things that I do love, and I think it was from Tarot of the Hidden Realms has a older woman going into or coming out of a cave, and I just fell in love with that sort of image because it just feels very much how I can see that energy, and this is beautiful, beautifully done. Love the Wheel of Fortune, love the movement, love the dancing, love the liminal space between the water and the land. Again, she's kind of touching on a lot of the things that I really like to see. I think from me, this came from Druidcraft, where the wheel, I think she's drawing, there's somebody drawing sort of a circle on the space between that liminal space between land and water. And so she seems like with this cloak that she's kind of, I can just see her swirling it around in a circle. Again, really love that. It's hitting all of the spots. Justice is balancing on the point of a fingertip with a sort of stone. Love this. Absolutely love this. Don't need a sword to create balance. Beautiful. Again, loving it. More power to people. Like, I am not I don't have great realism art skills. Obviously, I've increased my sketching ability greatly. But doing people to me would be terrifying, and I actually really love her people in this. Here we have the Hanged Man. She kept the traditional name, and we have sort of the Hanged One here, just quite beautiful. I do like her, and this is a weird thing to say, but I do actually like her cheeks. I love, like, this image is really beautiful. I love the style of this with the way that it's like light is just kind of glowing off of her. Like, that is beautiful. There's another one I thought I noticed. Like, I don't know. They have like a flush. Some of them, inappropriate ones, have like a flush to their cheeks that I quite like. Anyways, beautiful. Love it. Death is gorgeous. Like, this is beautiful. Let's see what she writes about it. But again, it's very simple. It's not going into high dramatics. But we just have what, like, you know, it looks like the aftermath of like a volcano erupting. The lava is still hot, but we still have that little seedling that's popping through here, and life continues even after great destruction. Beautiful. Love it. Again, love, like, look at these. That is gorgeous. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a temperance card that is, it's in some ways, like you would say, I don't want to, please do not take offense. I don't mean simplistic as in a simple drawing to do, but simplistic in the composition that makes it really powerful. I love the water hitting the land and finding its direction. That's just gorgeous. I think that's a beautiful temperance card. The Devil card is super interesting. Somebody has really abdicated their power and is bound. A being bound in a lifeless tree trunk balls her fists and screams in rage and pain and frustration. The muddled sky behind her mirrors her confusion. She is lost to herself, and she can't touch her genius right now, can she? She's kind of got herself into a position where she can't feel that genius. Self-destruction, bondage, and illusion. Yeah, your genius is buried beneath a mountain of fear and illusion, and it's time for you to do the hard work of freeing yourself. That is fantastic. Absolutely love that. Fantastic. Love the shape of this tower. Very kind of medieval feeling, a little fairy tale feeling. You know, just this lone tower that has been struck by lightning out of the blue. Love it. Love the Moon card and the Sun card. Yes. No naked babies with six-packs. Just the Moon and the Sun. Absolutely love those. I will take those in spades. Ooh. Ooh, love, 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 love the star. Let me see what she says here. A brilliant star shines its light outward in all directions. Some of its beams form a luminescent waterfall that cascades into the lake below. The moon is pouring it in itself. In the distance, craggy mountains offset the gentleness of the scene. Really beautiful. Appreciate the gift of hope the star has given you. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Here we have Judgment. I love this. I like the simplicity of the silhouette. I like the standing on the precipice. It feels like he's standing on the precipice surrounding the Niagara Falls. If you've ever been to the Niagara Falls, that's kind of what it feels like. But there is just this moment of purity in which you can pause and reflect. That is, and then is maybe going to dive into the waters. It's absolutely gorgeous. Here we have the World card. This is interesting. Completion, integration, and wholeness. An old woman floats in a placid sea, eyes closed, mouth curled up in a gentle smile. She surrenders to the ebb and flow of the tide, becoming one with it. She's just part of the movement. She is completely, one of the things that I was practicing Buddhist for a very long time, and one of the things that I really learned from immersion in that understanding was just, and it's maybe a little bit more Taoist than Buddhist, but this idea of just letting go and moving, being so completely comfortable that you're just flexible and fluid and moving with the stream as it goes, up and down in the mountains and around, and to not fight, but to just be movement and completely relaxed into it. And I feel like that really embodies that. Beautiful. So that is the majors. I really like what she's done there, 100%. Here we have the typical hands with the burning, I like the burning branch. We'll see if we have others in the aces. Here we have the Two of Wands creating that pathway. The Three of Wands. Now, I like this because I'm not a big fan of Rider-Waite-Smith where you are waiting for your ship to come in. To me, this feels much more like she's growing. She's going to keep moving up that hill until we have that tending. The Two Wands that were there are now going to turn into and start to grow something new. So I feel like this, I like this better because she is going to move towards it versus a Three is about growth and movement. I never really liked the person just standing there waiting for their ship. So I quite like that. Here we have the Four of Wands. There is kind of a pippish quality about this, right? There's scenery here. There's people, even scenery, but it's kind of stepped back. And so you do get a bit of a pippish energy that I quite like. I don't know if that's going to necessarily hold. With the Four of Wands, we have the Five of Wands and that competition. I like her use of the dark and light skies as well. This is gorgeous. Six of Wands. How beautiful is that? I'm going to see what she says about this. So here's an example of a paragraph from the Minors. The vanquished offers gifts to the winner of the day. The champion knows that her triumph is ephemeral. Such victories often pave the way for future defeat. She accepts her prize with wisdom and humility and grounds herself in the inevitability of change. When this card appears in a reading, it encourages you to enjoy your time in the sun without resting too much on your laurels. Make merry today and face tomorrow with open eyes, and always remember to honor your competitors in victory and defeat. Love it. I love it. Here we have the Seven of Wands. Again, this is an interesting posture. Staff strike out at our protagonist. Although a blow or two tests her balance, she bravely holds her ground. Find your stability with the Four, and you will have that continued growth. I love this. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am not a fan of the typical Eight of Wands shooting across the card because 8 is such a masterful number. For me, it's not about swiftness, but I love Eight of Wands that are honing into a focus like this. That movement is focusing. Absolutely my favorite way for a Rider-Waite and Smith inspired deck to do Eight of Wands, so I absolutely love this. 100%. Love it, love it, love it. 9 of Wands, again, we have that holding still strong here. And then we have our 10 of Wands, maybe a heavy burden to carry, but she is carrying it. She's got it. She's moving forward and she's strong. We have the Page of Wands. I love that where the Ace of Wands, we have the hand and the fire is in the branches. And the Page now is starting to play with fire in his own hands. The beautiful Knight of Wands, very movement, motion feeling, very confident energy here. Powerful Queen of Wands, utilizing her power. And then the King is almost engulfed in the flames. Very cool. Like these court cards a lot. So yep, we have our, you know, kind of hands aces with the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. 2 of Cups. 3 of Cups, the camaraderie and the coming together. The 4 of Cups. This is quite interesting. I'm not a fan of 4 of Cups in Rider-Waite-Smith. I don't feel like this one looks bored, that's what I like to, like, I don't want it to feel like I have to have it bored. She's actually shielding her eyes from the sun's brightness, which is making it so she blocks this. But for me, it's about stable emotions, and it really looks like she's powerfully navigating her emotions. So again, I know that's not the intent here, and I like what she's doing for if you're a Rider-Waite-Smith person. But for me, non-Rider-Waite-Smith, I actually really love this card. Here we have the 5 of Cups, that loss that comes in here. The interesting one is she's got 2 cups over and 3 cups upright over her head. But again, makes sense for this 5 of Cups. 6 of Cups, I love the running silhouette of the child here, and the nostalgia and the willingness to open yourself up to, sorry, I this went off before and I didn't turn it off, and now it's going to continue. But this is gorgeous. I love it. She's got a really good, in her art style, she's got a beautiful way of creating space in the cards, with the cards being kind of either pulled back or in some ways simplified. Again, I don't mean that in a negative. That leaves open space to the cards. I've not really found this to be anything that would get in my way of reading. There's still an openness to her interpretations artistically that I'm quite enjoying. I love this 7 of Cups. Here we have the journey of the 8 of Cups. Here we have that 9 of Cups, the wish fulfillment energy, that fully in her power, that is gorgeous. And then that's beautiful depiction of the I love that depiction of the Rider-Waite-Smith, the generations, the all kind of coming together. There's no genders or anything here, but it definitely shows that generations and that community being built. And of course, that typical, so you recognize this as the 10 of Cups, but it's beautifully done. I love it. Love the little Page of Cups. Knight of Cups. Again, movement, but it's within that flow and motion of water. The Queen of Cups. This is interesting. Let me see what she says here. A ruler stands on a precipice holding a round mirror. I do like the mirror idea. Reflected within is a single chalice, the focus of her contemplation and consideration. This card invites you to enter into a period of self-reflection, because really, she's standing right with this behind her and asking you to enter into the reflection. Again, I like the interaction there. And then here we have the King of Cups. Here's my suit. I know Rider-Waite-Smith does me wrong, but here I like the sword being pulled from the stone. Absolutely love this 2 of Swords. Bring the head and the heart together to open the swords. 3 of Swords. I actually like this. Again, we've got your Rider-Waite-Smith with the stabbing, you know, the three swords in the heart, but and we have, she's sadness, like there's sadness here. So I see this as obviously the Rider-Waite-Smith, but this is also lessons learned as well. She's not, you know, I still can get there with this. I like her eyes being closed in contemplation, and she's learning from her experience as well. So I can work with that. Love this Four of Swords. Absolutely love that. And again, let me just state for the record, this is a beautiful Three of Swords for the Rider-Waite-Smith. This is very clear that what this deck is, and it's nobody has any onus on them to create a deck that I can use. But I check for those things, right? Can I use this for clients? And the answer is yes. I can get there. It's not getting too much in my way. Four of Swords, love. Five of Swords is really powerful. Ooh, let me look at this one. What is she saying here? Love this. Again, I've not seen something similar. A warrior places the tip of his blade at the base of his chin and meditates on the consequences of inflexible righteousness. An innocent mourns the falling on the background, her prayer and focus giving them peace. This card invites you to consider possible fallout before you enter the fray. This is a gorgeous depiction of the Five of Swords. Absolutely love that. Strong. Six of Swords, movement to the bright horizon. Seven of Swords. This one again I like as well. The Seven of Swords is really one of those things that we have to sort of find our foundation and find our understanding, the four, so that we can figure out how to move forward. And this is quite beautiful. I like the light on the horizon. Beautiful Eight of Swords. Nine of Swords. I like this. I like her posture because the Nine of Swords is weighty, right? Whether or not it's about your real fears that have become exaggerated, or all the ideas and plans that you have kind of growing proportion, you know, maybe disproportionately, but growing. It can be a little overwhelming and stressful in either way. I like that she doesn't look purely terrified. She looks stressed. She looks a little overwhelmed. That makes sense with the Nine of Swords. There's our Ten of Swords. Okay, I can handle this, right? She's not like laying in a pile of blood. And again, I'm not averse to blood, but it's just not how I read the Ten of Swords. So she has learned all of these lessons. Some have been difficult, some have been not difficult. She is just kind of, I know she's dead. I understand that she is dead, but we don't have a bloody pool of blood here. And so I can talk about all of these lessons that she is embodying and culminating, and then a new day is starting over again. So I can work with this one. I much prefer this over, again, like a body in a pile of blood. It's kind of hard for me to say how I read that card and have a client be like, yeah, but there's literally a body in a pile of blood. It just makes it hard. So I can work with that one. Again, nobody has to make a deck so that I can work with it, but it's something I always look at. That's certainly a card I look for. Love this Page of Swords, 100%. Love the Knight, action, cutting through, clarity. This one, that's super balanced. Very justicey in the Queen of Swords, which makes a lot of sense. Love it. And then the King of Swords. Lastly, we have the Pentacles. Again, we've got the hand in the Pentacles. The balancing, I like that her balancing things like this, there's a bit of magic. There's a lot of levitation of things in here that I quite adore. Three of Pentacles, I love this working together. Four of Pentacles, again, not like a graspy Four of Pentacles. For me, it's about stability, and he seems to be stable here, so I quite like that for a depiction of a Four of Pentacles in Rider-Waite-Smith. This is a powerful Five of Pentacles. You have a shakeup in your resources and that feeling like you're drowning and sort of grasping at things. Again, that's an interesting depiction and of how that feels when your resources. But he's reaching his hand out for somebody to be able to grab his hand and help, which we then see in the Six of Pentacles. Love that. Absolutely love that. Here we have the Seven of Pentacles, allowing everything to grow into fruition and doing that work, having patience. Love this Eight of Pentacles, mastery. Everything has come into full fruition. Nine of Pentacles, having all of the resources to focus on what you want to. We don't have the bird that we normally see, but I do like the white robe here. It's a gorgeous image. And here we have the Ten of Pentacles and this legacy effect of that work continuing on and moving from hand to hand. Love that. Page of Pentacles is interesting. It's kind of a shadow. Let's see what she says here. A shadowed youth studies the shape of the sun so she may glean a way to pluck it down. She is clever, ambitious, and capable, and as long as she applies herself, she'll achieve her aim. An opportunity for growth has worked its way into your orbit, and it's up for you to take advantage. So she's working out how to best move forward. We have the powerful Knight of Pentacles. Love that. The Queen of Pentacles looking very earthy. And the King of Pentacles as well. I quite like him. I prefer older kings. That's just me. There were some that were youthful, but again, the energy of the king is not gendered or age related. It's just a preference. So I quite like him because he's the most solid, obviously, of the kings. I think this is fantastic. I'm going to say kudos to Jessie. You can definitely see that this is Rider-Waite-Smith inspired, but you can definitely see her own takes on where she's going with the cards. And again, there is a way in which it stays open enough for being able to utilize it in different ways. Yeah, these shuffle really nice. It felt like they were going to be flexible. I don't know. I can't bridge. I wouldn't say you're going to bridge well on this, but I certainly don't have any problems riffle shuffling. Again, I always warn, do as I say, not as I do. If you don't want any kind of chipping on your gilding or wearing, obviously, riffle shuffling will do so, but I don't mind it. So, and a good gilding should be able to take a riffle shuffle. That's my opinion. Yeah, I like how these shuffle a lot. Let me move back some more. There we go. So we can just lay out my general reading like I normally do, just so you can see it on the table. Oh, I love that as a present card. That might be my favorite page of swords. I love that. We have the past. We have moving into the future with confidence. What is in the position of fire, air, water. Ace of Cups in the position of water is powerful. And earth, pentacles in earth, as above, so below, or do this, don't do this. I love this. I really love this deck. I love the people. I love the silhouettes. I love the openness in some of the cards that leave space. Love the Hermit. This is really gorgeous. Really well done. Very accessible for Rider-Waite-Smith. Very accessible if you're a little off center from Rider-Waite-Smith. I love the color palette. Yeah, this is really beautiful. It's definitely something that I can utilize with clients, you know, which isn't always the case. So I always kind of am about, that makes no difference to an evaluation of whether or not you will find this to be good for you or not. But for me, it's something I'm always paying attention to. Is this one of those decks that I can reach for or not? And this is quite beautiful. Love her. Do this and I don't do this, which is going to be hard, right? Don't go with the flow right now, right? This is not the time to just relax into the flow. It's the time to master things. There's a time for this and there's a time not for this. So very cool. Love this so much. So yeah, this has been a look at the Genius Garden Tarot by Jessie Huntenberg. She's got stuff all over the, you know, she's got the Instagrams and all the things, so to speak, to find her on. I'll put a link to where you can purchase this below. But this has been a joy to look at, and I'm actually quite excited about being able to use this deck and giving it a go. And we'll check back, as I always do at the end of the year, with how it goes. But I foresee this going into my rotation, and that's always exciting. Okay, I will talk to you all later.